to Intergenerational Conversations, where hosts Keona, Owens, and Josephine Robinson bridge the generational gap in the nonprofit world. Each episode dives deep into topics that bring diverse ages togetherness, sparking innovation, understanding, and collaboration. Through engaging interviews and dynamic discussions, Intergenerational Conversation explores how different generations contribute their unique perspectives to shape stronger, more inclusive nonprofit communities. Whether you're a seasoned professional or just starting your journey, join us as we uncover the power of conversations, shared experiences, and collective wisdom across the age. Hey, welcome. I am Keona Owens, and I have with me my co-host,
Josephine Robinson.
We're so excited to explore the power of intergenerational mentorship. What aspects of this topic are you most excited to dive into, Miss Josephine?
I guess both, because as I get older, I've had the opportunity to mentor, but I've also, in doing my career, have had wonderful mentors. So I've been a mentee. And I know the power of intergenerational connections.
Amazing. So I'm really excited about today's topic, which we're really going to talk about ways of the impact of mentorship, how it impacts us individually and of all ages. In the nonprofit world, particularly, each generation brings something new, exciting, a unique shape form of mentorship. So we're really going to dive into the valuable perceptions of in what each group can contribute. So I'm really excited about the challenges. We're going to also talk about the challenges and opportunities in intergenerational mentorships. So as we dive into today's conversation, I just want to ask Ms. Josephine a quick question, because I've had some powerful mentors throughout my years. People have been pouring into me since my tender age, and I remember 5 amazing mentors that I've had, and I'm going to really talk about those later on. But I want to ask you a question, because you've been on both sides, as a mentor and a mentee.
Exactly.
So I really want to ask you, what are some challenges that arise in intergenerational mentorship relationships, and how can people navigate through those challenges?
Well, sometimes with intergenerational, when you're in different phases of your life, there are different things that are more important. So it's the importance for both sides to be patient. As you mentioned, I've had loads of mentors. My mom was my first mentor. You didn't call her that, but the reason why I do what I do is because of what she did. And I had an amazing aunt who I was named after, who was a mentor to me. And I was surrounded by people that spoke life into me from an early age. I grew up in the church and had teachers and relatives, so I've been able to benefit from wisdom. My aunt was in her 90s when she was mentoring me, and I got a chance to see a strong black woman who had become a widow, but really had resources. I didn't know, because we'd go to the savings and loans, and she would get her little passbook out, and then we would go shopping, and she would give me bits of information and knowledge. And I just know that it was so important. And now as I get older, I have the opportunity to mentor others. So I've been just extremely blessed.
Amazing. What I heard from you is the key word that I really love is patience. So oftentimes when you're dealing with when you're being mentored and poured into, it's that patience, how we have to kind of get cultivated into our next. And I just love how you said that.
And the other thing is that you've got to learn how to listen. I'm a talker, and I'm being accused of talking a lot. But one of the things, and my daughter, who I love dearly, helps me with that, is that sometimes I need to listen and not anticipate what I'm going to say ahead of time. So that's, if you're going to have a real strong mentor or mentee relationship on either side, you've got to be able to listen and be patient, and to be willing to learn at every age and every stage.
That part, because I am a forever student. Pour to me. I want all the wisdom, all the knowledge. So I appreciate that. That patience and listening component is very crucial. I really have another question for you, Ms. Josephine.
Okay.
I just love receiving from my peers and my elders.
Okay.
So what unique opportunities does each generation bring to mentorship that wouldn't be found in the same generation relationships?
Well, I think one of the things is that as things evolve, so as you get, I 70 now. So when I was a child, and I had people at my church. I went to Fellowship Baptist Church, and Reverend Clay Evans was the pastor. And it's what I do during Black History Month is I reflect on people that poured into my life. And I started writing my posts, and I was like, wow, people really loved on me. I didn't even realize that they were loving on it. One lady who I loved dearly, her name was Miss Lucille Lohman, and one of the things she told us when I was very young, your gifts make room for you.
Yes.
And she wanted me to follow her and her, she was the dean in the Baptist church. We have a very extensive, our church had a very extensive Christian education department. And I didn't want to be a dean. And so I decided to do something different in the church and really got to be a missionary and work with a dynamic woman, Miss Lori Elliott, was but people, as you get a chance to be older, you look at how people see things in you that you didn't see in yourself.
Yes.
And I think that's important. And as I've gotten older, one young man, particularly that I worked with at Gage Park, computer whiz, taught himself. This was in the mid 2000s, before the internet had gotten popular. And he said, and I wanted him to get in this program because he was so knowledgeable. And he said, I don't want to be in it because I don't want to be a nerd and I want the girls to like me. But he said, Ms. Robinson, you kept pushing me. And now he owns his own computer company and is doing very well because he said, you saw something in me that I didn't see in myself. So I think that's what being able to benefit from it, as well as being able to share with other people. And I think that's the real importance at different stages, because in different points in your life, things are important. When you're raising a child, that's your most important thing that you'll ever do in life. And once you have been successful and your child is independent and doing their own thing, then you have time to give to others more.
You said something so crucial. It is oftentimes we can't see what other people can see.
Exactly.
So that's one of the dynamics of mentorship. Like, you need that person that is able to speak life into your future and also see where your future comes and where you're going. So
Exactly.
I love that piece.
Yeah. It's I know it's important, and I just can see and being able, as you get older, being able to learn from people that maybe you're mentoring, because as things change and rapidly change, we do things differently.
Yes.
And being able to appreciate the differences as well. And also, and people don't talk about it, but people can mentor you that you don't know, that they don't know you.
Yes.
I'll give an example. I feel a wonderful lady, she's gone to glory. Her name was Lois Evans, Tony Evans from out of Texas. I never met his wife, but I consider her to be a mentee because she had these wonderful things on YouTube, and she spoke so wonderful about being a Christian woman and what that meant. It was just good. So I think that's another thing that we don't think. Because when people say you can have mentors that don't even know you.
Yes.
Cece Winan, I consider her a mentor. Mary Wright Edelman is, in terms of giving back to the community, I had a chance to meet her. But she was very deliberate, and she talked about her journey when she was younger, and I've read her books. And you learn.
Yes.
So reading is something else that I encourage people to do.
Reading, yes. Y'all, if y'all don't have a mentor, please look into ways to get poured into. That's crucial to your growth, development, and also to help you navigate through life. So, oh my God, here's another question.
Okay.
So as me being young,
Okay. Yes, you
like
are.
I mentioned before, I've had 5 amazing people that have poured into my life.
Okay.
But are there any specific skills or perceptions that younger mentees often bring to more seasoned mentors?
Well, I think based on what's happening, I'll use an example of computers. I mean, I know how to work them and do some basic things, but there's certain things I don't know. So learning from you, and you do amazing things with the computer. And my daughter, it's second nature because of those of you. I think you're millennials, and probably the first generation that computers have always been in your life. So I remember my late sister-in-law had the first kind of version of the personal computer, and we would go over her house and she would share things with. So my daughter's always known computers. Well, back in the day, in the 70s, when I was in graduate schools, we had mainframes. We had to go to the computer lab and we had to type them on the cards. And if you made a mistake, it would reject everything you did, and then you had to do it over again. Yeah. But now, computers are in your hands. Your iPhone is a computer. Yes. So I think to be able to, and I'm learning, and sometimes resistive to some level, but there's certain things that I just don't know. Yeah. And I have to be willing to say I don't know, and be willing to receive the help that I can get. And I think that's what, and also in terms of how things are viewed a little bit differently, and they're not wrong, but they're different. Yeah. And you can come to some agreement. There's certain things that are not negotiable, but there are other things that you can learn from each other.
I agree. Tools, technology. I love technology, but there are certain tools that help you navigate through life, and just to make things a little more efficient. And I agree with that one. Yes. Oh, this is a great question. Woo. So, how can mentors and mentees work toward better understanding each other's viewpoints?
I think the bottom line is that you need to respect each other. Yeah. And you don't necessarily have to agree on everything. But if you've got the basic values and character that you believe in, you can work it out. Because I think people, there's different ways to get here. You know, driving, you get on your GPS. Some people like the expressway, and they go. Some people don't ride the expressway, but they can still get here. And I think that's the respect that you can get from seeing it can be done differently. And it just because it's not done your way doesn't mean that it's wrong. And I think both can learn. And us both baby boomers, and I tell people that all the time, is that we are probably the first generation, specifically in the African American community, that we didn't have to do hard labor. Yeah. So we were able to do professional jobs, whether it was teaching, nursing, social workers, lawyers, doctors. So when we retired, we still had physical energy to do things. Yeah. And we're not going to stop. So I think, and I love that millennials are not afraid of that. And I think we're here to help, but we're gonna, I would not be happy if I stayed at home and didn't do anything. So I'm always busy. I know my limits, and my body is different, but I still have got things that I want to share. And I think that's the important part, is to know that everybody has something different, and be able to listen and to pay attention.
Yeah, listen, there go that patience and listening component again.
Yes.
It's coming out of everywhere. Yes. So it's important that we listen.
Yes.
To not just respond, but to comprehend.
Exactly.
And that's important.
Exactly. And also, I think, Keona, for those of you that are millennials, how do you respond when you get, because us older people can be a little bit overbearing sometimes, and we kind of think we know everything, and sometimes we don't. Of course, we don't know everything, but how do you work with people that are older than you when you find out that sometimes you're mentoring them in some areas and aspects?
So you actually hit on that earlier when you said boundaries, respect. I think that in any dynamics of a relationship, you have to have respect and boundaries, and be able to communicate and express your emotions and your feelings in a way that is respectful.
Exactly.
And make sure that you're giving that other person space to comprehend and process. I don't think that we don't give each other space
Yes.
to process information, and that's crucial. Like
Yes.
you have to process the information that you receive and make sure that you're go back to listening to comprehend, and not just to respond. So I think that the way for me, I've been poured into is on the mentee side is giving that space, respect, giving boundaries, respecting the other person's boundaries, and then being. I think that when you have that relationship and the other person understand that it's okay, like my feelings and emotions or my statements can be heard and is valuable to that relationship. So when you give in that space, community is everything. I believe in human capital. You can't put a price tag on relationships, and human capital. So just understanding the dynamics of that relationship and giving that space to receive and process.
It sounds good.
Yeah. So one other question that I want to ask you, and then we'll dive into opportunities and growth.
Okay.
And I think that you already kind of hit on this before, but open communication, you already said that. So we encourage both mentees to discuss their values and goals and all of those things, but this is the technology.
Yes.
So are there any tools or methods you recommend for encouraging open communication and respect into intergenerational mentorship?
I think to be aware that there's so many things that you might not know and be willing to give it a chance.
Yeah.
And don't get defensive, because I know I can, because I'm an older person, it's like you get a little defensive, but be open. One of my late colleagues, unfortunately passed away, Brian Banks, introduced me to artificial intelligence. And I was like, what is that? He said, Josephine, don't be afraid to use it. Just say it and put it in, and you'll get all kind of stuff. And he was working on a project with me, and I said, this is unbelievable. And now it's everywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all on your cell phone and Facebook, and I think and it's a tool that can be utilized for good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's one thing, because it's like, how is it happening, and how are people using it? And universities are having to get used to it, because it's not going away.
And also, like, I want to say, in addition to AI or things of that sort, like, different methods for open communication for me is, like, regular check-ins, like, how often do we check in with each other? Reflective questions, like, if I'm being mentored, I would love someone to ask me those crucial questions, life-reflecting questions that can help me grow. And it goes back to what you said earlier. Oftentimes, you can't see what other people see. And it takes them looking through their lens and their perceptions to help you grow and scale in life. And without that, those crucial questions and those questions that help you, those thought-provoking questions that help you dive into, like, next steps and proactive, goes back to that proactive listening, instead of reflective listening. It's like, okay, what's next? What steps do I need to take in order for me to grow and align with facing day-to-day challenges and things of that sort. Woo, baby, that's good. Now, what advice, Miss Josephine, would you give a mentor on adapting their guidance to meet the unique goals and communication styles of younger mentees?
I think first to listen to what they want from you.
Yeah.
Because many people, for example, I've worked in the community for many years.
Yeah.
I graduated in 1977, so 47 years, and even before then, I was doing some things. But be willing to listen to what their issues and concerns are, because you can project what you perceive and understand their background. I think that's one of the things that people don't take time to do. What has been their life's journey? And what have they had to deal with? And so once you find that, then you can feel different. You can maybe give better advice when for example, because people have, I love school. I absolutely love school. My teachers loved me. I got a double. My high school teacher was wonderful. I love my college professors. But some people hate it. high school. I loved high school. So if you're working with someone and they're having some difficulties looking about how they relate to maybe educators because they're experienced, you got to listen to what they're experienced, because everybody didn't have a good. I mean, I went to school all the time, but some people couldn't wait to get out of high school, and some people I know hated high school because of whatever happened during their education. You got to listen and hear them and not make a value judgment and start where people are. And I think that's what's important, because people don't start where people are, so they make assumptions about and maybe to find out maybe it's not where they're at, might not be the best fit, and maybe they need to be looking at doing something different. It's important to kind of, and when you know people's stories, you can go and give more advice and listen to what they want to do, and I think that's what's really important. You gotta find out people, spend some time and find out people's stories. So having, if you're in a mentor relationship that's evolving, just find out a little bit about who they are, where they come from, what their relationship is with people, both in family situations as much as that's appropriate, as well as professional and personal situations.
Yes, that judgment and bias is so crucial, and I think oftentimes we place judgment on people and not learning their story or what their narrative is. So I agree with you. So we have 5 minutes left, but I really want to ask you a question. I know we've been really diving into mentorship, the importance of intergenerational mentorship. So my question to you is, if you were to summarize one key insight from today's discussion, what would you want to tell your listeners?
I think listening, accepting people for who they are and what they bring, and spending time to get to know who they are and their history, so that you can work in partnership to go to the next level. And both to know that you can also be mentors, can be younger than you, and also that mentors, because through reading and social media and all of that, you might never know the people, but you glean knowledge from them.
Yes, gleaning knowledge from people. And my takeaway is mentorship unlocks potential. Like, you don't know where you're going or what. We all have goals. We all have aspirations, but sometimes having that mentor to just pour into you, it unlocks potential. It unlocks your next. It creates accountability.
Exactly.
Ooh, that accountability piece, y'all. Accountability, and most importantly, actions to do. So I really love that aspect, and most importantly, that it's a two-way learning dynamic.
Yes.
You know, we're learning, we're growing. It's a community of learning, and it's you learning from your mentor, you learning from the mentee.
Exactly.
So both sides become aligned with invaluable knowledge. Like, knowledge is, you can't even put a price tag on that.
Exactly.
Fresh perspectives, passion, like all of that good stuff. So what unexpected takeaway about intergenerational mentorship do you think people would consider?
I think the unexpected is that you've got to be willing to look at yourself in an honest way and realize that what limitations you have, and be willing to accept how you can grow. Because I think sometimes, especially when you get older, you don't think you do, but you do act that way. So being willing to say, well, this is a new experience for me, and how can I learn from this situation? I think is really important, and not just say, well, she's younger or he's younger, or I've been doing this for, you might have been doing it for a long time, but it's some new ways to do things now.
I agree. New ways, new notions, and that goes to my next statement is, I think people might be surprised of how the dynamics of intergenerational mentorship help break down the preconceived notion. We all are working together.
Exactly.
And we see I think that when you are looking through the lens of other people, you see their strengths, you see their weaknesses, you're able to address and help just them navigate through life. As we wrap up, we want to say this for those that's tuning in, and we have a lot of other things that we want to really dive into, but we are running out of time. running out of time. But I want to invite all of our listeners, for those tuning in, if this episode resonate with you, intergenerational conversations, and today's topic is actually understanding the dynamics of mentorships. Mm-hmm. We'll love to hear your thoughts and experiences. Contact us. Let us know how we can contact us. Let us know how this dialogue brought it to life. And we want to also invite you to our next session, which is Understanding Generational Dynamics, where we will dive into an enlightening conversations where we explore the unique characteristics, values that each generation brings into the nonprofit sector. We're actually going to focus on that. That session will reveal how different age groups shape nonprofit work, address shared goals, and navigate generational differences for a stronger, more inclusive community impact. Thank you so much for having us. We hope to see you November 25th, same time, 7 p.m., which is every fourth Monday at 7 p.m.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. This was great. Awesome. Yes, thanks.
All right. Looking forward to hopefully seeing you next time. Not seeing you, but hopefully seeing us and listening to what we have to say and contacting us as well. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Do you want to tell any?
No, we've just always got things going on. I'm with, I work with Keona with Touch Gift Foundation, but I also co-founded a group called Cradles of Success Coalition, where we give young people a first chance and maximize their possibilities for success. And we got some events coming up. We got a youth summit, so you can contact us. It's November 16th. And we got Black History. I'm a Black History student, and we've got a wonderful gentleman, Ernest Krim, that's doing amazing a Black History class, and we'll have one on December 16th. So those are some of the things. Thank you so much. This has been wonderful.
And you can follow Miss Josephine on Cradle to Success Facebook page. They do have a Facebook page. All of the events will be posted there. And we also will be sharing out at CAN TV how you can get connected.
Thank you so much. This is wonderful.
You. This is awesome. Thank you, Miss Josephine.
All right. Thank you, Keona. It's wonderful.
Welcome to Intergenerational Conversations, where hosts Keona Owens and Josephine Robinson bridge the generational gap in the nonprofit world. Each episode dives deep into topics that bring diverse ages togetherness, sparking innovation, understanding, and collaboration. Through engaging interviews and dynamic discussions, Intergenerational Conversation explores how different generations contribute their unique perspectives to shape stronger, more inclusive nonprofit communities. Whether you're a seasoned professional or just starting your journey, join us as we uncover the power of conversations.